Ommadawn was very special. I need to rewind a little bit, and explain the history of the two albums before that. Obviously, you know Tubular Bells, which was fantastic success. Out of the blue, unexpectedly to everybody. And then after Tubular Bells came Hergestridge, or pronounced properly by the locals, Hergestridge, which was a much more, sort of say, pastoral sounding album. These days, it would probably be described as this strange term, New Age, whatever that means. That was very badly received. You know, the critical backlash for Hergestridge compared to Tubular Bells was wicked and cruel. You know. At my age then, what was I, 20, 21, I had no idea about these kind of things, so I took it very personally. So in a way, with Ommadawn, I wanted to do my absolute best. And I'd moved to a little cottage on a hillside on the Welsh border. It was quite high up. It was very breezy in the winter, you know, and very cold. In fact, the carpet of the house, it was a very ramshackle house, used to billow up in the wind in the living room. There was all these holes in the floor. And I had a little studio downstairs, and the record company had given me some very, very good equipment, beautiful Neve console and everything that I needed, you know, they provided, because they wanted me to make a new, really good album. So had all the equipment I needed. I'd learned enough by then about studios to not need an engineer or a producer, so I produced it and engineered it myself, which I love doing. And then I started work. I worked for probably 6 months, and it was a reel-to-reel tape. The tape was about that wide, great big thick reels of tape, and in those 6 months I'd spun the tape back and forward so many times that the tape started to disintegrate, and all this oxide from the tape was like collecting around the tape heads and powder, and it came to a point where the sound kind of didn't really sound any good anymore, and I couldn't copy it because I'd lost the sound quality, so I had to completely start again. So what you hear as Ommadawn now is actually Ommadawn 2, and I changed a lot of the music, you know, in the second part. Somewhere on the internet, on YouTube, you can still hear, you know, the old version. So I wanted to do it absolutely perfectly. So it was the only time I didn't use the first take of everything. I learned how to drop in. In fact, I used to work the tape recorder with my feet at the time. I could drop very good, you know, pressing the buttons with my toes. So I could be playing something and working the tape machine with my toes. And I would do it again and again until I'd got it perfectly. And then it was very emotionally charged. I remember the sort of screaming guitar at the end of part one was done in the middle of the most gigantic thunderstorm on top of the hill. You know, the weather can be pretty wild up there, you know. We've got wind coming in from the west, and it's coming right up the hill. The thunder and lightning, and I was in there playing away. And then it finished off with this song about riding little Welsh ponies on the hills, which I love to do. It was my way of relaxing on a Sunday morning, you know, get on the little Welsh pony. I mean, it's not like proper horseback, it was like pony trekking, you know. But it was sweet, and it was lovely, and they were lovely little animals, you know. And I got some local kids to come and sing the chorus on it. And it all just rounded off, and it became a tremendous success, not only in sales but critically as well. So then I had the up, I had the down, and I had the up again. And I think I probably worked as hard on Ommadawn as I had on Tubular Bells, which was, you know, wasn't just the recording. Tubular Bells was the years and years before actually getting in the studio, the writing of it. So it came a point, what should I do next? And I didn't really have another album in me after Ommadawn. And so those first 3 albums have become like a trilogy. You know, the essence of the early part of my career. And after that, I started doing things like experimenting with more modern music, more contemporary music that wasn't really me, but I started touring, started giving interviews, and did all the things that I hadn't done before. So in that way, it's a very special album, yes. Ommadawn, it comes from the Gaelic Ommadan, which means fool or idiot. You may wonder why I would call my album Idiot. But, in folklore and in history, the idiot is often the person who, underneath it all, is the real genius, the real magician, you know, because they don't need to pretend to be anything other than a fool. They can be, I mean, like Stephen Hawking, for example, has got a wicked sense of humour, you know. And obviously he's not an idiot, but he can appear to be. So, in a way, it's a sort of reverse compliment to call it Ommadawn.